Hey, welcome. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show right here on the Free America Radio Network for the 30th of June 2014. How y'all doing today? Are you good? Because hey, I'm concerned. It's Monday and you guys had a really good weekend, hopefully. You got July 4th coming up this week. The Independence Day. We have a problem, folks. Excuse me. We have a huge huge problem, folks. All right. And that problem is that we don't have independence. We don't. Okay? Just saying. A little water there. Here's what we have, folks. We have a tyranny. We have a police state. We have what we have. Okay? We don't have freedom as we knew it before. We just don't. And we have to change that. We have to change that because we are not free. We are not. Well, let me put it this way. From the time of the ratification of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, December 15th, 1791, we have never been free in terms of what the controllers of this country wanted. Now, of course, 1791, 15 years after the War of Independence, we have all of this. We understand all of this. We know all of this. But here it was, 80 years later in 1871, the culmination of all of those robber barons, those carpetbaggers, whatever it was, whatever it may have been at that time. The railroad magnates, the mining companies, all of that. All of that came about and culminated in corporations taking over the United States of America, specifically the Rothschilds of England, buying the debt, buying the debt of the United States of America at that time due to the Civil War having, exhausted our resources. So we had that. But 1871, the corporations took over, okay? And it all fell into place after that. One after another, these corporations came in and gobbled up the rest of the United States. And here it is, 2014. And the rich, the barons, the mining companies, those people that own those companies weren't immune from these corporations coming along and buying them up or putting them out of business. And for instance, in Virginia City, Nevada, I believe it was 1875, was a huge fire. Huge fire. And they never really recovered from it, but, or have the strength they had before. But, so you've got all that going on. Of course, in the late 1800s, 1880, 1890, gold, silver began to, it became more expensive to mine, but they kept plugging along. Whatever you can get, right? And then, of course, the great earthquake in San Francisco of 1906, the mining companies had offices in San Francisco because that was the well-to-do place to be at that time. And so when the earthquake happened in 1906, the mining companies had to pull all their resources and all their money back into San Francisco to help rebuild it. So that's and it was 1906, so there wasn't much going on, so it became more expensive for them to mine. But anyway, hey, this is the Wayne S. Pierce Show. Go to the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com, the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com for more information. If you want to sponsor the show, great, wonderful, fantastic, awesome. Or if you just want to donate, that's cool too. So I shall return right after this.
The views expressed, the high-caliber, armor-piercing halotip round that pierces right through your soul every weekday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time on Spreaker.com.
This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from the Free America Radio Network. Prepare yourself for the unexpected. Have an emergency food supply available when you need it. You never know when the next power outage or natural disaster will happen. Are you prepared when it does? Go to Free America Radio Network website and click on the Store tab and get your emergency food supply now. Go to freeamericaradio.us. A natural disaster could happen at any time. Be prepared. Go to freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab to get your emergency food supply today. That's freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab and prepare in case something happens. Hey, welcome back. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show right here on the Free America Radio Network for the 30th of June, 2014. How are you today? You doing good? I hope you're doing good. Things are happening all over the place. By the way, Hobby Lobby won. Yes. The mandate for having a company cover contraceptive was shot down in the Supreme Court. Hobby Lobby won their case. No company has a right to tell anybody what to do as far as their reproductive organs and stuff like that. So they pretty much won, and I'm sure they struggled, back and forth, argued in court and all this. So yeah, the Supreme Court came down on the side of Hobby Lobby. So anyway. And I wanted to get into that because I was having a conversation on a post. Well, conversation as much as you can have when you post back and forth. But I'm pro-life, and I believe that the woman and the doctor, or the woman and her husband and the doctor, or boyfriend, whatever, the woman and her boyfriend or husband or, significant other, should be the only ones deciding whether or not to have an abortion. Okay, if the doctor deems the pregnancy a danger to the mother, I believe that they should talk about it. Do I believe in birth control? Of course I do. But when you look at quote unquote birth control, most people use it as control. Okay, that's my belief because I've seen both sides of the argument, which is birth control this and people have to be responsible and all that. And I agree on that side of it, but I also look at it this way. There's a lot of people out there using it because they just want to have sex and don't want to get pregnant. So what are they, whores? No. But when you look at also the other things that birth control pills do when you take birth control, that regulates certain hormonal things going on. So I know this because I talk to women. Hello. All right. And I sit down and I discuss these things with women and I ask them their feelings and they tell me. So when you look at this whole birth control thing, this issue, this hot button issue of abortion, Birth control is always going to be thrown into the mix. Well, if we had better birth control, if we had, better, access to blah, 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 if we had better education and blah, blah, blah. No, if you just had common sense. Well, people don't have common sense. So there's always an argument for something. I'm pro-life. I'm against murder. Abortion is murder. Hello? That's just the way it is. But now somebody did bring up a very good topic in this conversation I was having on Facebook in these posts. What if a woman gets raped? Should that woman carry that pregnancy through? I know women who have been raped and as a result gotten pregnant, and they said they're keeping the baby. Why? It's a life, for goodness sakes. And then some women tell me, well, no, I'd abort it because I don't want to be reminded of that horrible situation and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's your choice. No one's forcing you to do that. Just because I have an REV in front of my name that I use as a title doesn't give me any license to tell you what to do with your body. But I can tell you this too, also, along with that, along with that, I can tell you this, the government doesn't have a right to tell you what to do with your body either. Nobody does. But common sense would say, well, financially, economically, physiologically, medically, my doctor and I get together and we talk. You women should get together with your doctors. If you are not Planned Parenthood, screw them, blow them off the face of the map. Go to your doctor and talk to them. I've talked to doctors before and they won't perform abortions. They'll have somebody else do it. They'll refer them someplace else. And it's like, but the doctor will always say, well, there's alternatives, there's adoption, I just don't want it. Okay. Here's the thing. One size don't fit all. So I don't give a crap what the left says. I don't care what the right says. I don't care. Murder is murder. Abortion is murder. That's it. Bottom line. End of sentence. I know women that won't do it. I know women that would do it for their own personal reasons. Okay? That's just the way it is. Now, somebody would say, well, it's murder. Then what do you think about war? Duh. We shouldn't be in other countries, occupying other countries, killing people. We shouldn't have our own government funding an arm of Al-Qaeda or a different name called ISIS, ISIS. We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do any of it. Stay out of it. It's their civil war. It's what they do. They'll fight it out. They'll take care of it the way they take care of it. Where do you go from there? Here now, if you believe and follow the left-right paradigm, here's what the left's going to tell you. War is good. Or no, from what, let me correct myself, because I'm lumping a whole lot of thoughts into that statement. Let me correct myself. The left says we've got to look at this and examine this, and then we have to talk to the Republicans. The Republicans say, no war, we don't want to do this, but if it will help this situation, we'll do it. The liberals will say, and the Democrats will say, well, yes, it will. So they both are guilty of sending your kids off to war. Okay? But that's the bottom line. They're both guilty of it. One may want to stop it, but then see a benefit. Let me bottom line it for you, because I talked about the corporations owning this country. Let me tell you this. General Smedley Butler said it perfectly. War is a racket. Okay? Bottom line. He didn't probably say those words exactly, but the gist of what he says in his statements is the fact that war is a racket. So when the government tells your sons and daughters to go off to another country to be involved in somebody else's civil war, then what these companies are doing. They're contracting with the federal government under defense contracts to make billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars off of your taxpayer money to send your, kids off to war in the vehicles and that the military industrial complex contracts to have, and all these other companies are contracted to build, and so it's about the money. That's my point. It's about the money. Has nothing to do with the freedom of the citizens of the United States of America. Has nothing to do with that at all. Nothing. Zip, zero, nada. Nothing. The only way that it would be for the freedom and security and the peace of this country is to have all of our military right here on our shores, in our land, in the United States, protecting our shorelines and protecting the borders. Period. That's it. Now, I don't want to hear any more people tell me that, I don't understand all of the things that are going on enough to really, no. I had somebody look at me and say, you don't understand the issues well enough to make a comment. And I looked at him, I went, I do too. And he goes, really? How? It's called this little thing we do called reading and researching and looking into all of this. I told him about the shadow government, about the black budgets, and he's looking at me like I got 3 heads from the planet Krypton or something. I don't know. But I can tell you this much. You really have to understand the situation before you understand how to solve it. That's basically this show and the Views Expressed Live. I give you the roadmap. Here it is. Here's the roadmap. Here's where you are. That big blue circle, red circle, whatever you want to imagine is there. You are there. You are right there. It says you are here. That's where you're at. I'm telling you around that whole situation what's going on, and if you decide to go off in another direction or go in the direction that is safer or whatever it is, how I'm just giving you the roadmap. You decide what you want to do. You decide what highway to take. You decide what back roads to take. You decide where to stop. That's up to you. I'm giving you the roadmap. If you don't want to take the roadmap and you just want to sit on your hands doing nothing, then The more you want to sit on your hands doing nothing, the more nothing gets done. That's just the way it is. Now, whether you like me or not, whether you agree with me or not, that's not up to me. I'm just giving you the information. I'm giving you the roadmap. It's up to you to decide where you want to go, what you want to believe. The only way you're ever going to do that is if you do it on your own. I'm just, there you go. Here's this big, big map. You decide. Bottom line is, we all have to decide. We all have to understand what's going on. All of us. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. We all have to figure out what's going on and make the best possible choices in the situation we're in for the best possible solution. What more can you do? I'll be back right after this. If you're into liberty and libertarian values, tune in to The Angel Clark Show, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, at radiofreedom.us.
Hey there, I'm Big Tiny. I'm the host of Big Tiny's Oldies and More. And we're playing music that you just love to hear from the 50s to the 90s. So check us out Monday through Friday and see what we're playing right here on Spreaker.com.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God?
So help me God.
Ah, damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on the Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network. This is the Free America Radio Network right here with the Wayne S. Pierce Show on the 30th of June 2014. How y'all doing today, folks? I always ask that, don't I? I don't get a response. Well, that's okay. I hope you're doing well. It is Monday. 4th of July is coming up, and we are not so independent, but we're dependent. I hope we're dependent on one another to get things done, to make things happen, to change things for the better, to, to get these a-holes out of here. Because I'm sick and tired of them. Sick and freaking tired of them. Now, before the break, I told you about the Supreme Court. From the Associated Press, justices can't make employers cover contraception. Mark Sherman over at AP. Thank you, Mark. The Supreme Court ruled Monday that some corporations can hold religious objections that allow them to opt out of the new health law requirement that they cover contraceptives for women. The Justice's 5-4 decision is the first time that the High Court has ruled that profit-seeking businesses can hold religious views under federal law. And it means the Obama administration must search for a different way to provide free contraception to women who are covered under Objective Companies' health insurance plans. Contraception is among a range of preventative services that must be provided at no extra charge under the health care law that President Barack Obama signed in 2010 and the Supreme Court upheld 2 years later. 2 years ago, Chief Justice John Roberts cast the pivotal vote that saved the health care law in the midst of Obama's campaign for re-election. Let me break in right there, folks, and just say that everybody was yelling, it's a tax, and they're going, it's not a tax. Yeah, Justice Roberts said it was a tax. Continuing, on Monday, dealing with a small sliver of the law, Roberts sided with the 4 justices who would have struck down the law in its entirety. Justice Samuel Alito wrote the majority opinion. The court's 4 liberal justices dissented. The court stressed that its ruling applies only to corporations that are under the control of just a few people in which there is no essential difference between the business and its owners, like the Oklahoma-based Hobby Lobby chain of arts and crafts stores that challenged the provision. Alito also said the decision is limited to contraceptives under the health care law. Quote, our decision should not be understood to hold that an insurance coverage mandate must necessarily fall if it conflicts with an employer's religious beliefs, unquote, Alito said. He suggested 2 ways the administration could ensure women get the contraception they want. It could simply pay for pregnancy prevention, he said, or it could provide the same kind of accommodation it has available to the religious-oriented, not-for-profit corporations. Those groups can tell the government that providing the coverage violates their religious beliefs. At that point, the group's insurers or a third-party administrator takes on the responsibility for paying for the birth control. The accommodation is the subject of separate legal challenges, but the court said Monday that the profit-seeking companies should not assert religious claims in such a situation. Justice Anthony Kennedy, who was part of the majority, also wrote separately to emphasize that the administration can solve its problems easily. Quote, the accommodation works by requiring insurance companies to cover, without cost-sharing, contraception coverage for female employees who wish it, unquote, Kennedy said. He said that the arrangement, quote, does not impinge on the plaintiff's religious beliefs, unquote. Houses of worship and other religious institutions whose primary purpose is to spread the faith are exempt from the requirement to offer birth control. In a dissent, she read aloud from the bench. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg called the decision, quote, potentially sweeping, unquote, because it minimized the government's interest in uniform compliance with laws affecting the workplace, quote, and it discounts the disadvantages religion-based opt-out impose on others, in particular employees who do not share their employers' religious beliefs, unquote, Ginsburg said. The administration said a victory for the companies would prevent women who work for them from making decisions about birth control based on what's best for their health, not whether they can afford it. The government supporters pointed to the research showing that nearly 1/3 of women would change their contraceptive if costs were not an issue. A very effective means of birth control, the intrauterine device, can cost up to $1,000. The contraceptives at issue before the court were the emergency contraceptive Plan B and Ella and 2 IUDs. Nearly 50 businesses have sued over covering contraceptives. Some, like those involved in the Supreme Court case, are willing to cover most methods of contraception as long as they can exclude drugs or devices that the government says may work after an egg has been fertilized. Other companies object for paying for any form of birth control. There are separate lawsuits challenging the contraception provision from religiously affiliated hospitals, colleges, and charities. A survey by the Kaiser Family Foundation found 85% of large American employers already had offered such coverage before the health care law required it. Most working women will probably see no impact from the ruling. Corporate health benefits consultants expect. Publicly traded companies are unlikely to drag religion into their employee benefit plans, said Mark Holloway, Director of Compliance Services at the Lockton Companies, an insurance broker that serves medium-sized and growing employers. Quote, most employers view health insurance as a tool to attract and retain employees, unquote, said Holloway. Quote, women employees want access to contraceptive coverage, and most employers don't have a problem providing that coverage. It is typically not a high-cost item, unquote. It is unclear how many women potentially are affected by the High Court ruling. Hobby Lobby is by far the largest employer of any company that has gone to court to fight the birth control provision. Oklahoma-based Hobby Lobby has more than 15,000 full-time employees in more than 600 craft stores in 41 states. The Greens are evangelical Christians who also own Mardel, a Christian bookstore chain. The other company is Conestoga Wood Specialties Corporation of East Earle, Pennsylvania, owned by a Mennonite family and employing 950 people in making wood cabinets. Now, that was the Associated Press as well. And I'm putting that up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page and on the Free America Radio Facebook page. I want people to know that as far as I'm concerned, companies, if there is a plan that, you know, in where you work that covers women, okay, and their contraceptives, I would say let the company pay for it. They're doing it already. Why not? You know what I mean? And to me, I don't see anything wrong with it. If women want, you know, birth control, contraceptive, whatever it is, go for it. I don't see a problem with it, you know. I find it, now, here's the other side of that coin. I do find it hypocritical that a company would say, we're not going to pay for it, knowing full well that their company does pay for it. You know, if it's a corporate company and not a mom and pop. But even then, you know, if a woman wants it, why not give it to her? Hey, guess what? Go to thewaynespearsshow.weebly.com. Check out the website. Free America Radio at USA is the email. And I will be right back after this.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
As long as the Matrix exists, the human race will never be free.
What is the Matrix? Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world, built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
No. I don't believe it. It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo. I just said it would be the truth.
I will not condone a course of action that will lead us to war.
A communications disruption can mean only one thing: invasion.
Hey folks, this is the Wayne S. Pierce Show right here for the 30th of June 2014. How are ya? Or better yet, what are you going to do today? It's Monday. It's coming up on the 4th of July. It's, there are just so many things. Let me go here, folks. I'm going to go to the Drudge Report, where I got that last article before the break, and I'm going to see what else is there. I go every place. I just don't go to one source because everybody has a different view, and that's fine. That's okay. I don't mind that at all, Here's the insanity from the Communist News Network. Yes, I'm going to continue to call CNN Communist News Network because that's what they are. They're a bunch of freaking nutcases over there. Fareed Zakaria, al-Sadr's, Shiite militias like Iraq's own Tea Party. And he says, and I quote, now for our What in the World segment. Goes on and on and on and on. He says this. So why in the world is Maliki flatly refusing to do this? What is he doing? Basically, he says partly is because he's hardline Shiite politician himself whose party draws its support from the Shiites who are not particularly well disposed to the notion of being nice to the Sunnis. They're former overlords. But it's probably at least as much because Maliki needs to worry about radical Shiites as much as radical Sunnis. You see, he has his own Tea Party, and this one has an army of its own. If you want to know what I'm talking about, and I'm so vague about this, I'm going to put this article up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. and on the Free America Radio Facebook page, because I believe that you are smart enough to be able to read this and glean something out of it. I've spent way too much time, it seems, probably not enough time, finding information, helping people understand what's going on. I give you the roadmap and you decide where to go. And it has taken me over 30 years to realize that 30 years ago I was correct in my understanding of what was going on then. Okay? And I really felt, it was 30 plus years ago. This is 2014, about 33, 34 years ago. And I knew something was wrong, and I wanted to check into it, so I did. And when you find this stuff out on your own, you then understand what's going on. I can only give you the roadmap. You decide where to go, what rest stops to go to, what restaurants to. I can tell you all that, but the decision is up to you. LA Times has an article. Thousands go without water as Detroit cuts services for non-payment. Detroit's decision to cut water service to delinquent households raises human rights questions. Nearly half of Detroit's water customers are delinquent, and the city is cracking down. It has been 6 weeks. This is from LA Times. Alana Samuels, contact a reporter, blah, blah, blah. It has been 6 weeks since the city turned off Nicole Hill's water. Dirty dishes are piled in the sink in her crowded kitchen where the yellow and green linoleum floor is soiled and sticky. A small garbage can is filled with water from a neighbor, while a bigger one sits outside in the yard where she hopes it will collect some rain. She's developed an intricate recycling system of washing the dishes, cleaning the floor, and flushing the toilet with the same water. It's frightening. That's what she says. This is what Nicole Hill is saying. Quote, "It's frightening because you think this is something that only happens somewhere like Africa," unquote, said Hill, a single mother who is studying Homeland Security at a local college. But, she says, now I know what they're going through. When I get somewhere there's a water faucet, I drink until my stomach hurts, unquote. Hill is one of thousands of residents in Detroit who have had their water and sewer services turned off as part of a crackdown on customers who are behind on their bills. In April, the city set a target of cutting services to 3,000 customers a week who were more than $150 behind on their bills. In May, the water department sent out 46,000 warnings and cut off service to 4,531. The city says that cutting off the water is the only way to get people to pay their bills as Detroit tries to emerge from bankruptcy. The utility is currently owed $90 million from customers, and nearly half of the city's 300,000 or so accounts are past due. But cutting off water to people already living in poverty came under criticism last week from the United Nations Office of the High Commissioner on Human Rights, whose experts said that Detroit was violating international standards by cutting off access to water. Quote, "When there is a genuine inability to pay, human rights simply forbids disconnections," unquote. Katrina Del Albuquerque, the office's expert on human right to water and sanitation, said in the communique, quote, "Are we the kind of people that resort to shutting off water when there are disabled people and seniors, unquote, said Maureen Taylor, chair of the Michigan Welfare Rights Organization. Quote, we live near the Great Lakes. We have the greatest source of fresh water on earth, and we still can't get water here, unquote. And we still can't get water here, unquote. No question. That was a statement. The issue of utility affordability is acute in Detroit, with its high proportion of low-income residents and an infrastructure whose costs were once borne by a much larger population. But municipal analysts say the problem is becoming more prevalent everywhere as extreme weather and its unusual range of high-low temperatures force utility bills ever upward. So anyway, it goes on and on and on. And that's from the LA Times. I will put that up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page and the Free America Radio Facebook page to talk about that on the Views Expressed live today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Free America Radio Network. And you can always catch this show. You can always catch this show Monday through Friday, or excuse me, not Monday through Friday, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Sometimes live, sometimes in a podcast, such as it is today, at 12 noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. I don't know if I'll have a live show this Wednesday, but stay tuned. Who knows? Go to the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page for more information on that. Let me just point out something to the people in Michigan. If you don't pay your bills, you're going to get cut off. Plain and simple. The United Nations has nothing to do with it. You are responsible for your... What if I don't have any money? I'm on welfare. Oh, stop crying in your beer. You know, I don't know. If you don't pay your bills, you're going to get cut off. Okay? I mean, that's just the way it is. All right? And on that same note, here's another one from Drudge Report. Detroit.cbslocal.com. Majority of delinquent Detroit water customers in culture of, quote, you're not making me pay, unquote, says Deputy Director. Marie Osborne wrote this. Thank you, Marie. Several people protested outside the Detroit Water and Sewage Department building Thursday. Excuse me. Man, oh man, oh man. Got something going on there, don't I? Holy crap. Anyway, let me go ahead and try to clear my throat here. There we go. Says here, several people protested outside the Detroit Water and Sewage Department building Thursday, saying customers are having service cut off at an alarming rate and the practice is inhumane. Organizer Dave Bullock with the Change Agent Consortium says the water department is going after customers that may be as little as $150 delinquent and says the department ignores large corporations which are behind. Quote, people always want to attack the poor. Why are we attacking the poor people, unquote. But when asked which large companies are behind in their payments, Bullock would only say that WWJ should research the issue. Quote, I think you all should be standing with us, unquote. Bullock told WWJ's Marie Osborne, quote, I think you all should be demanding that same level of accountability for firms and corporations in the city of Detroit that they are levying on residential customers, unquote. The Water Department states that there are about 60,000 delinquent accounts in the city of Detroit, with the average arrearage, in other words, how much are people behind, is about $560. The City of Detroit Water and Sewage Department Deputy Director Daryl Latimer said every account, corporate and private, is treated the same, adding that the Water Department does what they can. Let me read that again, shall I? The City of Detroit Water and Sewage Department Deputy Director Daryl Latimer said every account, corporate or private, is treated the same, adding that the water department does what they can to work with those who come forward and address their hardship situation. Quote, the majority of our customers who are in delinquency status, they just built a culture of, you're not making me pay, I'm not going to pay, unquote, said Latimer. That was probably taken out of context when quoted by the WWJ. But I don't know that for sure. But normally I know how the press works. They'll take everything out of context if it benefits, them selling papers or advertising or anything like that. So, I'm just saying that's my opinion. I've seen that in the past. But anyway, what it boils down to, folks, is people want stuff for free. A friend of mine years ago said it perfectly. Why is it costing us, why is it costing us to get water? It has to be refined. It has to be, take the impurities out of it. I have seen both sides of the aisle. I've seen both sides of the argument, okay? I've seen both, okay? I've seen both. I don't want to hear it anymore. Okay? I've heard it enough. Here's the thing. You're going to have a utility, and chances are you can trace that back to the Public Utility Commission. You'll have a utility that you have to pay for coming into your house. Water, electricity, whatever it may be. You have to pay for that. Period. End of sentence, done. Period. You got to pay your rent every month. You got to pay your mortgage every month. Got to pay your car payment every month. Your car insurance every month. Right? You got to pay for food every month. Right? Well, what's the point? I don't believe that. Let me rephrase that, shall I? I believe that if you are living somewhere that requires you to pay for something coming into your home, and more specifically your home, whether it be an apartment, a duplex, a mortgage on a house, whatever. If you have to pay it, you have to pay it, period, end of sentence, done. Okay, I don't want to hear it anymore. You have to pay, period. Okay? There are a lot of people out there in certain areas that say, I'm not going to pay for nothing. I'm just going to take them to court. I'm just going to do this. What are you going to do, okay? What are you going to do? Is it so hard for people to just be responsible? Well, I believe that's the case. It is so difficult for people to be responsible that they get to that point, and I've seen this, and this is part of the psychology behind it as well, and I've seen this. People get it gets so difficult for people to pay certain things that they just don't. So what's the recourse? What's the recourse? People have to pay. That's all there is to it. People have to pay. And now, the argument, though, on one aspect of it is, well, what if you're on welfare and just can't pay? Well, what are you doing on welfare? Not that, if you need it, you need it. But I mean, what are you doing on welfare? And what if you're elderly and have a fixed income? Well, there's that to consider as well. But here's the other thing. Not only is it, not only do people find themselves in situations where they find it difficult to pay their bills, they find it difficult to be able to get the money to pay the bills. Okay? In other words, or here's another thought too as well. You're working 2 or maybe even 3 part-time jobs. Right? You're not making a whole lot of money. So you got to pay a $150 water bill? Myself personally, let's just put all that aside, what I just said, and put it to you this way. All utilities should be one single fee every month, not a tiered increasable rate. One fee, that's it. And that would then be included in, let's say you don't make a whole lot of money. Your rent, your utilities, all of that should be contingent upon your wage, not the other way around. Not in this idea that, oh, you have to make 3 times more than the rent to live here. No. If I made, I'm just going to throw some numbers out here, folks, for illustration purposes only. If I made gross $1,400 a month, but took home less than $1,000, okay, which is ridiculous. But if I took home less than $1,000 a month, my rent and utilities should be contingent upon that amount that I make. Not, well, the utility companies charge $65 for this and $80, and if it goes up to this and whatever, and every 6 months No. It should be one flat rate contingent upon my wage, period, end of sentence. Same thing with rent. Well, what about those apartment complexes that have maintenance and all this and 24-hour security and all that? One flat rate contingent upon my wage. Well, what if somebody in there has a 3-bedroom and they're paying $1,200 a month and you've got a 1-bedroom and you're paying $600 a month? Flat rate contingent upon my wage. Now, some people would say that's rent control. I don't believe so. I believe it is economically sound to do that. Prove to me it isn't. Show me the numbers. Show me the numbers. To paraphrase Jerry Maguire, show me the numbers. If nobody can accurately and factually give me the reason why we can't have, what you would consider rent control or utility control or one flat rate contingent upon our wages, if you can't show me any of that shows how bad that truly is or how good that either way, show me. Show me. If I take home less than $1,000, number one, nothing should be based upon gross because we don't take the gross home. Everything should be based on the net because that's what we take home. If I took home less than $1,000, my rent should be nowhere near $500 a month. My utilities should be nowhere near $50 a month. Period. End of sentence. Contingent upon my wage. Period. A lot of people don't like that, and a lot of people think, well, nobody's going to make any money. Utility companies have to make money. Somewhere down the line, some corporate business is going to be paying whatever you don't pay. What am I not paying? I'm paying a flat rate contingent upon my wage. What am I not paying? So anyway, this thing in Detroit, bottom line is you got to pay your bills. And if there's 60,000 or 4,000, whatever the numbers are, because they conflict, each story that you got out conflicts with the numbers conflicting with each other. Whatever the numbers are, those people are wrong. And they have, and even though I struggle to pay and they won't make any arrangements and blah, 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 I'm not going to pay. You're not going to pay because you want something for free. That's the bottom line. Don't give me any more crap. You want something for free. You believe that you shouldn't have to pay for it because you got these other bills to pay. Because you got this to pay. And you got that. I shouldn't have to pay for my water. That should be free. Pay your damn bills and you wouldn't get yourself cut off like that. My kids have to eat. Without water, they're not going to be able to. So anyway, 60,000 or 4,000, whatever the numbers are, because they conflict, each story that you got out conflicts with the numbers conflicting with each other. Bottom line is you got to pay your bills. And if there's 60,000 or 4,000, whatever the numbers are, those people are wrong. And they have, and even though I struggle to pay and they won't make any arrangements and blah, 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 I'm not going to pay. You're not going to pay because you want something for free. You believe that you shouldn't have to pay for it because you got these other bills to pay. Because you got this to pay. You got that. I shouldn't have to pay for my water. That should be free. Pay your damn bills and you wouldn't get yourself cut off like that. Now, let me say this in regards to what's happening in Detroit. Okay? I am not there. I don't live there. I haven't talked to anybody there. I don't know. But from what I am reading in the news, from as you have seen, I'm hearing different things. So therefore, my answer to all of that is pay your damn bills. Okay? That's just the way it is. Just pay them. I don't know why it's that difficult, but because, like I said, I'm not there. I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody. But just pay your bills. You know? If somebody has their idea or has an opinion on this, please email that to me. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. So, anyway, where do we go from there? Oh, we only got a few minutes left, don't we, folks? Holy crap. Hey, come join me on the Views Express Live today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Free America Radio Network, also at freeamericaradio.us. Certain things have changed. Certain things have occurred. And let's just say you can go to freeamericaradio.us and just listen to the show there on the player there. If it says live under Free America Radio Network, the Views Express Live, if it says live in big red letters or, big red down there on the player, click that and you'll hear the show live. 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Free America Radio Network at freeamericaradio.us. You can also go listen to Brian Lang at livetruthradio.com. Listen to his show as well. He's got all sorts of things going on. Anyway, so many things going on that I want you to be aware of them. That is why I give you the roadmap. You can decide what direction you want to take. But I would say study, research, check it out. There's a lot of people that don't believe me, and you know what? I really don't care. Because I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm suggesting you go out and look this stuff up yourself. I mean, period. Why why believe me? Well, he said it. Well, no, I said it, but I also said check it out yourself. Didn't I? So there you go. Anyway. This podcast is being recorded and will be uploaded soon. Yes, this is not live, of course. So, email me if you have any questions, please ask. More than happy to tell you what you need to know. All you got to do is ask. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com is the email address. The website for this show is thewaynespearceshow.weebly.com. And if you want to sponsor the show, you can. Just go to the sponsors page, check that out. If you want to donate to keep this show up and running, that's awesome. Appreciate all your support as much as you can give. Thank you. Appreciate that. Anyway, folks, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go take care of whatever I got going on here and phlegmy stuff and coughing and all that. So anyway, again, freeamericaradio@usa.com is the email address, and the Wayne S. Pierce Show is the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com is the website. That's the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com is the website. freeamericaradio@usa.com is the email address. And folks, I'm going to get out of here before I start coughing again. Have a great day. Have a great Monday. And I will talk to you on the Views Express Live, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network.